Live on Facebook, stand by. So your screen stuff is down here, okay? Okay, so when you share the screen, everything's good.
Okay. I got it. Just leave like that.
Okay, you're up and running. Okay, just turn your videos off.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday night LifeVantage National Webinar. My name is Gabe Pearson, and as I say every week, I have the honor and privilege to be able to share an incredible new science to each and every one of you, as well as an opportunity to each and every one of you. I have been with this incredible company, LifeVantage, now a little over 9 years. It's kind of hard for me to even say that. Time has gone by so quick. I spent my entire career in the fitness business. I started out as a health club instructor, worked my way up and became a health club owner to 3 gyms here in Jacksonville, Florida. It took me 20 years to figure out that even though I owned those gyms, I was still building somebody else's dream. I just got tired of creating millionaires, folks. You know, I didn't own the property that those 3 gyms are on. Those real estate guys made all the money, right? Didn't own the finance company, didn't own the leasing company. So I was just one of those guys that was above their pay grade. You know, so I walked away from the health club industry, started my own personal training company, quickly morphed into a wellness company. We developed a nationally recognized program that reverses metabolic syndrome. So basically I walked into corporations and I helped them reduce their cost of healthcare. Living the American dream for about 6-7 years, and what happened to this country in 2009? We all know that the entire bottom fell out and all our eggs were in one basket. We were in the corporate world, and when those CEOs were telling me that they needed to find ways to save hundreds of jobs, when they were forecasting for that following year, wellness was the first on the chopping blocks. We lost 3 six-figure contracts in 30 days. Literally brought us to our knees. You could say we were on the wall of worry. We lost 3 six-figure contracts, and it was really interesting when one door closed like that, another one opened. I was invited to be a keynote speaker in Atlanta. I went up there to drum up new business, to retool, and a complete stranger walked up to me after my keynote and asked me if I've ever heard of a product called Protandim. And folks, let me tell you, if there wasn't 8 to 10 people waiting in line to speak to me behind her, I would have turned around and walked away from her. In the 35 years I've been in the fitness industry, I've never endorsed a product. And at that moment, Protandim was not going to be the first. Next thing comes out that woman's mouth, literally, folks, retired me from the fitness industry 22 months later. That was a little over 7.5 years ago. And here I am, 9.5 years later. I have a business that's does over $1 million a month, and the most important part of the business is we're pioneering a new paradigm in health called nutrigenomics. And tonight I have an incredible guest. I have doctors on most every Monday night to help share the science with all of you, and I have his bio here. I'm not going to read all of it. It's pretty lengthy, but I'm going to just kind of give you a couple of bullet points. He was, in his first 25 years of practice, he was a board certified OBGYN. And then he converted to holistic medicine 18 years ago. He's still practicing. He practices in New York. He practices in South Carolina, and he practices in Georgia. And I've had the opportunity to travel with him to New York and South Carolina to help him build his business, I'd like to welcome Dr. Moshe Dekel to the webinar tonight. Moshe, there you are.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I know you're extremely busy. Really appreciate your expertise. So how are you?
My pleasure. Excellent. Excellent. Especially after an Axio drink. I'm doing good.
I haven't finished mine yet. Well, congratulations on your business. When I set up this, this PowerPoint right now, the first question I'd love for you to share with the entire, viewing audience is, your resume is just out of this world. Why did you choose LifeVantage?
It's kind of an interesting story. I didn't choose it, it chose me, kind of thing. It happened because a good friend of mine, Bobby Wagner, called me after I sent him a little happy Thanksgiving about a year ago. He said, listen, we need to talk. And he came over with April and he introduced me to this line of product. And quite frankly, I was not looking for any different product because I have about 80 products that work very well. And he said, before you say no, why don't you look it up on PubMed? I said, PubMed, what does it have to do on PubMed? PubMed is the official NIH public site for peer-reviewed studies. He said, well, it has about 23 different studies on it. So it got my attention. I started reading about it. And I realized that really it has to be offered to my patient because of the benefits of these products. I knew a little bit about NRF2, NRF1, but not enough to actually help my patients. And now it's really protocol in my office, and also protocol in some other doctors that I introduced to, and it's really very simple. With everything else that we do, we just said to our patients, you need to be on it because these are the benefits that you're going to get.
I find it totally fascinating that you were familiar with NRF2 and NRF1, but being a holistic physician makes a lot of sense. I've got this slide up right here, Dr. Dekel. I want everyone to understand what you and I have the privilege of pioneering, and why we're both so excited. I mean, we're actually pioneering this new paradigm in health called nutrigenomics. And folks, if you can see the slide right here, the Today Show just a couple of months ago said the latest trend in nutrition isn't a fad diet or a newly discovered supplement, it's your DNA. And Fox News says nutrigenomics, it's the ability to use nutrition to affect our genes. It means we're no longer at the mercy of our DNA. So basically, Dr. Dekel, nutrigenomics, can you kind of give them, the definition? What does nutra mean and what does genomics mean?
Well, it means that we're not prisoners to our gene anymore. Okay, conventional medicine telling our patients, your genetic makeup is such, and therefore you're determined to have such disease, or whatever your parents had, you're going to have it. This science, with the epigenetics, which is also a relatively new science, we actually now understand that it's not just because we have a cancer genes we're going to have cancer. That gene has to be expressed or not expressed. And the nutrigenomics is really, as it says, the science of nutrition and how it affects the expression of various genes, whether it be good genes or bad genes. So we have control of our health, and this is the science that actually proves it. I
just absolutely love that. I've been on the prevention side, the holistic side myself, and it's almost like finally, we're moving in the direction that we should be moving in. Well, I know that we're short on time, and you and I, we could talk for hours. What I want to get to is, I want you to cover, the core four. That's what I call the vitality stack. But before you cover those four products, can you just kind of help everyone understand the significance now of this award that this vitality stack just received?
Right. This award actually, we won the bronze, which is a third place out of 37,000 products that we introduced on a yearly basis to a competition. I think there were about 37 different countries. And this is as far as new products are concerned to the market. And rightfully so, we actually should have gone first place, but okay, bronze is okay because it works incredibly well even without the award. But the award just shows you that the people in the know actually decided that this is significant enough improvement to actually win this award. So I think it's important.
Yeah, it really is, especially these four products, just being right at a year old. Well, our first product is our flagship product, Protandim NRF2. It's got a lot of science behind it. Can you just kind of walk everyone through the significance of this new category creating product?
Yes. The issue that we have with our health is the following. We need oxygen to live on, but oxygen is slowly killing us because during the production of energy through the mitochondria and production of ATP, we have unstable molecules that are called free radicals. These free radicals are actually short of an electron, and therefore they're going to steal an electron from another molecule, becoming whole, but then the other molecules become short of electron. And this kind of stealing back and forth happens millions of times per second. This is the basics of aging and just about any chronic disease. So when we have a product that reduces oxidative stress, free radicals, by 40% in 30 days and 70% in 90 days, this is a game changer. And this is when I read this, I said, and I've been in medicine almost 40 years, about 18 years of that in holistic medicine, and I never actually heard about this product, even though it's been on the market for quite a while. So using this product, actually, you read the last one, it actually increases lifespan by 7%. I mean, there's no product that I know of that can do that. So the ingredients are very simple. You have turmeric, you have milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, and ashwagandha. If you take any of them separately, you're going to get some benefits, no question about it. But it's the synergy of these 5 ingredients that Dr. McCord was able to put together that increases the ability to quench the free radicals by 1,800%. Now, somebody may say, well, I take vitamin E, I take vitamin C. These are antioxidants. Yeah, that's true. But there's no comparison the ability of this synergistic ability of creating that many quencher of free radicals because of activation of catalase, SOD, and the other enzyme,
Glutathione?
the glutathione, thank you, that actually are increasing the ability to quench them by 18 times, 1,800%. So this gives us the benefit of this tremendous line and the results that are really talked about for 23 different studies on the site, on the NIH site.
So folks, let me just kind of put this in, remedial stuff here, okay? Taking antioxidants are now a thing of the past because we found a way for your body to make them. Making them is more efficient, as Dr. Dekel just said. It's safer and it's a better tool. So always remember this, taking antioxidants kills one bad guy, free radical, for every one good guy. Making them kills 1 million bad guys per second, every second. So let me just ask you a simple question. What team do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the one and done team? Take antioxidants. If you want to be on the 1 in 1 million team, what Dr. Dekel just talked to you about was this NRF2 activator. Activate your own body's natural production to do what your body was meant to do for the first 20 years of life. Now, Dr. Dekel, you had mentioned NIH. Can you just kind of help everyone understand the enormity to have a dietary supplement like Protandim to be backed by all these journals and universities?
It's almost unheard of. As I mentioned to you before, I have a lot of products in my office over the last 18 years that I recommend that work very well. They don't have one study on them because they're not patented. What happens is nobody's going to spend millions of dollars on studies that they cannot benefit them exclusively. So when I heard that it has 23 studies, and when you look at who actually did the studies, none of it is actually, the company is not behind the studies. They didn't pay for these studies. These studies were done by Ohio State, Harvard University, Colorado State, and on and on and on, which gives us tremendous credibility. And, you know, that's why I think one of the main reasons we have hundreds of doctors in our company, even though the majority of our distributors in this company are not physicians. But we have the credibility of the medical community and also the scientific community, because this was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, not to even mention all the stories of true stories of people that get benefits from the NRF2.
Well, when I started with this, Dr. Dekel, this company 9.5 years ago, there was only 3 peer-reviewed published studies, and there was only 1 patent. And now we have over 24 peer-reviewed published studies and over 12 patents. One of the universities, can you just kind of, I'm gonna let you read this. I just absolutely found this astonishing. Washington State University talking about what protandim is, an NRF2 activator. Can you just kind of elaborate on that slide?
Well, it's very simple. The scientific world is saying that the advent or the defining of how to actually activate the NRF2 is probably the most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. And this is a big statement because we have quite a bit of history in medicine. But when you realize what this activator actually does on a cellular level, and we actually are combating free radicals, which are causing disease and causing aging, I think that this is a pretty accurate statement.
So folks, as Dr. Dekel just said, all this product does is reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. And oxidative stress is not emotional stress. It's how and why we age on a cellular level. And like Dr. Dekel said, it's a major contributing factor of how we get diseases. And it pulls back on that range by 40%. So that's the first of the 4 products. The second product, I call it the brother or the sister product, Dr. Dekel. Can you just kind of elaborate on the NRF1 activator?
Yeah, absolutely. The NRF1 is actually part of the system. And what it does, it actually supports the mitochondria. The mitochondria are the small organelles within each cell that actually take the food that we eat, literally, and combine it with oxygen and make ATP, which is the energy molecule that actually drives our system. Without that, there's no life. So the mitochondria actually is susceptible to free radical damage and aging. And as a result, the efficacy of the mitochondria goes down with aging and with exposure to free radicals. So the NRF1 supports growth, rejuvenation, and increase the number of mitochondria within the cell. And as a result, we have more energy, but the byproduct again is what? Free radicals. So now we have the NRF1 getting us more energy through mitochondrial health, but also the NRF2 that actually handles and neutralizes the increased amount of free radicals that are being produced because we're producing more energy. So it's really a synergistic sister brotherhood effect that actually gives us more energy without the collateral damage that the free radicals are causing.
You know, everybody drinks coffee, you know, or energy drinks, you know, and what I try to help everyone understand, that's a single dimensional way of getting energy to the system. In other words, it's like putting a Band-Aid, you know, on the problem. And as we age, we have less and less ATP in our mitochondria, and that's why we need naps when we're 50 years old, you know, and you don't have the energy you had when you were younger, when you had a lot of ATP. And all this product does, again, it gets your own body to do its own work. It activates that pathway, and that pathway makes more energy, more ATP. So it's getting to the root of the problem. It's not putting a Band-Aid effect on it. So if you want more energy, folks, you want to combine those two products. And Dr. Dekel, what I've been finding out, and I've gotten a lot of testimonies on this product, is people tell me that they sleep so much better on this product that they're actually in REM sleep. They're in those deep dreams. So who couldn't use better sleep and more energy, right?
In fact, insomnia is a major issue in our country, but the next issue is, of course, not enough energy. A lot of my patients complaining about fatigue. Well, this kind of product will definitely enhance your energy production. And actually, not only that, but a lot of people tell me that it's good for anxiety. It's actually calms them down. In my experience, it actually improved my memory for names, which was pretty incredible because I've been on it for 6 months and I can actually sense a difference. So to me, it's a proven fact that this product should be on everybody's list and everybody should be on it once they understand what it does for them.
Absolutely. Now, this next product is starting, to get a lot of traction. I've always heard that, your gut is the second brain. Can you kind of, help everyone on this webinar understand the difference between this probiotic and all the other probiotics that you can find on store shelves?
Okay, good question. Well, first of all, let's talk for just a moment about why probiotics are so important to begin with. Our bodies are made of about 95 trillion cells, give or take a few. But we have 10 times more bacteria in the gut than cells in our body. So if you take the human form and you actually consider it from a cell point kind of view, we're 90% bacteria, 10% human. So for us to think that what's happening in the gut, it does not affect any and all aspects of our lives, it's really erroneous. The microbiome is now a known entity, so to speak. It's been in the literature for about 10 years now. Thousands and thousands of studies are actually showing the importance of being healthy, number one, preventing disease, but also getting better if you have any issue. And all this is because of the microbiome. So in other words, the probiotics are bacteria that are symbiotic with us. In other words, they consume our toxicity. They make vitamins, vitamin B, vitamin K. They make 3,000 different enzymes. Whereas the bad bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, are actually consuming our food and make toxicity, okay? So obviously there are a lot of probiotics on the market, but ours is a little different because if you look at the slide, it says that 60% of survival rate because of specific technology that actually control release these bacteria that now can proliferate and support the gut where it's supposed to happen without getting about 96% getting lost before it even gets to the gut, as you can see on the diagram. So when you use this specific product, the Physique Probio, you're actually getting the right results into the right place and actually prevent and actually improve your health in a general fashion.
See, I was one of those many people that would go to the health food store, and I would go try to find a probiotic that had, the most amount of CFUs, those colony units, right? I was looking for the ones that had multiple billions. I did not know, Dr. Dekel, that only 4% that would actually get to where it's supposed to be because of our stomach acids. And this, technology, and because the pill's encapsulated, 60% gets to where it needs to be. So that's a no-brainer. And it's priced for profit. That's what I love. Now, lastly, let's talk about the Mega Plus. So we have the activators, NRF2, NRF1. We got the probiotic. And lastly, we have the Mega Plus. Can you kind of let everyone understand what sets this product different than all the other Megas?
Right. Well, everybody heard about omega-3, how important it is for a variety of systems. The brain is one of them, cardiovascular is another one of them. The immune system, it's absolutely important. And the problem is that in our Western diet, and there's a ratio, there's omega-3, omega-6, omega-7, omega-9, etc. But the important thing to notice is that there has to be a certain ratio between omega-6 and omega-3. And in the American diet, the ratio is 1 to 15. In other words, 15 times more omega-6 than omega-3. Well, omega-6 is pro-inflammatory, whereas omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. So having a ratio 1 to 15 really puts us in what? An inflammatory state. The right ratio, depending on who you read, is at least 1 to 4. In other words, at least 3 times, 4 times better. And some people actually say that it should be 1 to 1. So in other words, we have to improve the ratio by taking 15 times more omega-3 than omega-6, which is already in our diet within quite sufficiency because it's in grain, it's in many other items. But omega-3 is the tough one to get because unfortunately not too many people eat enough fish. So the omega-3 is here to support this ratio and to protect us. It also has, it's called a plus because it also has the vitamin D, and the vitamin D is very important. Vitamin D is now considered almost like actually a hormone rather than a vitamin because it's now known that it's affected about 2,000 different genes. So it's extremely important. It's important for gut integrity. It's important for calcium metabolism. It's important for the immune system integrity, okay? And on top of that, we also have the fact that we actually track where this omega-3 is coming from. And that's important because, as you said before, there's a lot of omega-3 on the market. It's really hard to tell where is it coming from, what's the quality assurance, etc. Well, this type of omega-3 you can actually control, actually see it where it's coming from the boat directly into the bottle. So it's a very interesting way to actually prove to us that this product is way above the rest of the crowd, so to speak.
I love it, folks. I didn't like fish oil because I just didn't like the fish burps. So what Dr. Dekel was just talking about, how we can track it, it's just fresh. So if you ever have taken fish oil and you've had fish burps or fish breath that whole afternoon, that simply means that your product was rancid. I did not know that, so that is a major, star, in my opinion, on this product right here. Well, in closing, Dr. Dekel, I have this slide right here. So can you just kind of go back through this slide and kind of, the most important points of these 4 products?
Excellent. Well, the Vitality Stack is really, I would call it a basic product because unfortunately, a lot of people don't take any supplementation. And unfortunately, they think that if they eat well, which is very important, it will give them all the nutrients that they need. And unfortunately, it's incorrect. So by taking the Vitality Stack, you're actually covering the basics of good health and good living. And that's because we're reducing oxidative stress, which we talked about, which is the reason for, number 1, aging, number 2, just about any and all chronic diseases. So that's very important. The second part is what? Getting the energy up, okay? Especially as we age. A major complaint of my patient is, I'm fatigued. I need to take a nap in the afternoon. I come home after work, I crash. Well, the NRF1 is a mitochondrial boost. As we said before, the mitochondria actually what? Produces energy. So that covers that part. Next, the gut. You want to be healthy, take care of your gut. You want to take care of your gut, take the right probiotics. So you take that, the second brain supports the first brain, you prevent or actually help preventing leaky gut, which we didn't speak about, but leaky gut is actually a major issue in our health situation today, and that is important part of preventing and actually treating leaky gut. Also support the immune function. Obviously, without top-notch immune system, we're open itself to diseases. Again, it's much easier to prevent than try to cure. So I always preach to my patients, let's prevent. And this is an excellent way to prevent. And again, not only that, but you're supporting brain function, okay, the omega-3, and also heart health. So here we have a product, the core product is the core 4, that actually treats just about 80% of just every issue that we face in our life. And I think that's a good start.
Well, I know there's a lot of people that walk into health food stores and they're, just overwhelmed when they see all these bottles and all these shelves and they're trying to figure out, what is best for them. And folks, you just heard it from Dr. Dekel. The core 4, these 4 products right here that we call the Vitality Stack, that was ranked the #1 health and pharmaceutical product in 2018, over 3,900 other products in 74 countries, he says covers 80%, of health. So if you're like me and you want something simple, you're looking at it right there. Just get with the person that invited you to this webinar tonight, and there's a couple of different ways that you can purchase the Vitality Stack. If you're like me, you want to get the biggest bang for your buck and you don't like to pay shipping, buy the whole stack together, and you get it for a cheaper price. And if it's all price for profit, if you look at that price for $149, or you can have them in little packets for $151, so you don't have 4 bottles. It's just, you're not going to be able to find that kind of price anywhere. Let's get to the company. What I saw when I was researching this industry, I was a network marketer's worst nightmare. And over 9 years ago, when I was doing my research, when I found out this company was publicly traded, there was roughly 1,400 network marketing companies in the country, but there were only 17 that were publicly traded. Now, the numbers have changed. That was 9.5 years ago. I'm sure there are a lot more now. But what I looked up was those first 16 companies, and there was 2 letters by their name. D for decades, on how long those network marketing companies that were publicly traded around, and B for billions, the revenue that they were doing. So that was really, really something that stuck out like a sore thumb. I love the fact that it's publicly traded, because everything that Dr. Dekel just said tonight, he could not embellish anything. You can look anything up. Everything's transparent. He says we had a couple of dozen peer-reviewed studies. Go to NIH and read those studies. It'll make the hair in the back of your neck stand. What's fascinating, folks, this company was a biotech company in 2003, and they just couldn't get the word out. The product NRF2 Protandim was complicated, and they never exceeded 3 million in sales. So the company was literally going to go belly up. They hired a consultant, and the consultant said, take it out of the research world and put it in the oldest form of marketing, word of mouth. You and I could have bought this product in a GNC store as far back as 2005. But we didn't know it was on the store shelf, because the clerk who worked in that store, and no disrespect, but they couldn't tell us the difference between a direct antioxidant that Dr. Dekel taught us tonight, as opposed to an indirect. So they put it in the network marketing space, and the company grew from 3 million to over 200 million in the next few years. So think about this: from 2003 to 2009, the company never exceeded 3 million when it was in the retail world. We put it in the oldest form of marketing, word of mouth. Dr. Dekel and myself carrying on a conversation, just storytelling, and it goes to 200 million in a few short years. I love the fact that we have title sponsorship for a Major League Soccer franchise. The company is starting to brand, and during the season, the games are shown in 80 countries. I love that. I love the fact that it's international. When I started with this company, we were only in the United States, and now we're in 18 countries as far as distributorships are concerned, and we're looking to put in 5 more countries in the middle of next year. If you read the pro forma, we're going to be in over 100 markets. So this company right now literally is still in the infancy stage. Something that everyone should really understand is the enormity of how big this industry is. You can see it was a $158 billion industry in 2011, and the projection for 2018 is over 200 billion. To kind of put that in perspective, the NFL is only an $8 billion entity and industry. So we're now the second largest in the world. We're only second to oil and gas. So, and the reason for the growth, the exponential growth, is what we're doing right now. We are, on a webinar, it's the advent of the internet. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Dekel, I believe, is in South Carolina. He might be in New York, I'm not sure. And all of you, we've got people on this webinar as far as the Netherlands and Germany overseas, and all the way out west of California. So you're able to build a business so much faster today with the advent of the internet. And in this industry, timing's everything. I'm sure all of us would have loved to buy Microsoft stock, back in the late 70s, right? The numbers indicate if we spent $1,000 on Microsoft stock in the late 70s, we're worth millions and millions and millions and millions today. Well, every company goes through the S curve, and that's what you're looking at right now. When a company starts out, it's in the infancy stage, right? And then you have branding, or in network marketing, it's called critical mass. And then you go through momentum and then stabilization. So to kind of help everyone understand, if we're talking about network marketing companies, and I mentioned companies like Pampered Chef or Avon or Mary Kay, light bulbs go off in your head, right? What if I mentioned to you LifeVantage? It's a disconnect, right? Nobody knows who we are yet, and it's because we're not branded. So if you're looking at this graph right here and you see that little purple star, that's the branding, the start of branding, all right, or critical mass. And that's when the company does 600 million in revenues a year. We just did a little over 200 million. So we're just starting to touch the bottom part of being branded. So, I think this says it all. Warren Buffett knows a little bit about business, right? He owns a network marketing company, Pampered Chef. He says it's one of his most profitable companies. But he also says this: if you're going to get involved in this industry, you get involved before the wave, not during the wave, and certainly not after the wave. And folks, that's where we are right now. You can, if you're on this webinar and you're a guest tonight, for the rest of your life, you cannot say that you have never heard of an opportunity before the wave, because that is where we are. And it only happens twice in a lifetime, folks. Once before you're 35 and once after you're 35. So if you are looking for something, not quite sure what you're looking for, how many people do you know that breathe oxygen? Dr. Dekel just shared with all of you the damage oxygen, occurs, right? How many people do you know that eat? Well, we're all aging and we're all diseasing. And what this product does, this system of nutrigenomics, pulls back on that process by 40%. You certainly don't want to join a network marketing company when it's in the stability phase. I call that phase the too late phase. It would be equivalent to running to a brokerage house tomorrow morning and buying $1,000 worth of Microsoft stock. What are you going to get today? A few shares, right? You missed the boat. So timing is everything. So I would urge each and every one of you that are a guest tonight to try to find a reason not to do this. I mean, that's exactly what I did, and I couldn't find a reason not to do it. And I was able to walk away from a 35-year career in 22 months. And what's fascinating, in the last 4.5 years, Our team has been able to help 25 other families do the same thing. So ask yourself this: how many employees do you know retire early? And I'm not saying that I'm retired because I'm doing this webinar, right? I'm more like I'm rewired, not retired. I can pick and choose when, where, what, and with whom I want to do things with. I don't have to wake up and show up to get a paycheck. So if you're looking for something, you can do exactly what I did. You know, I started to do this business part-time. I just made 2 phone calls a day. And the reason why my wife and I got started with this company was honestly to make $2,200 a month just to keep our 2 kids in private school. We got hit so hard financially, we were 90 days away from losing our home. Didn't care about that, right? It was all about my kids. Never in a million years would I have ever thought I'd be writing my last payroll check 22 months later. And like I said earlier, that was 7.5 years ago. Now, there are different ways of getting started. What I want all of you to understand is 93% of people in this country trade time for money, right? And the reason why is because they don't have the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, the millions of dollars to open up their own business, to build their own dream, right? So in this industry, it's wide open. It's a low barrier entry. There's 3 ways of getting started. You can get started for $350, $650, and $1,250. I just have, you know, on this screen right here, I just have the $650 and the $1,250 because it's the better bang for your buck. But think about this for a second. The $350, and you get in where you fit in. You know, you still get the same benefits as everything. It's just you're working a little bit slower with the smaller packs. But $350, you're buying $300 of product for 20% below wholesale. And the $50 is the business in the box. So for the analyticals out there, the risk is $50. Worst case scenario, you take those $300 worth of products, you become healthier. You get a little bit bigger bang for your buck on the $650, the $600 worth of product, you're buying the product at 25% below wholesale, and you get some other bells and whistles. I'm not even going to go into that. The person who invited you to this webinar can share that with you. I came in on the $1,250 because my mentor said this to me. He goes, if you want to make the most amount of money for the least amount of work, this is where you want to go. And I totally understand where he's coming from today. It's all about creating the right behavior. When you come in on that $1,250 pack, not only do you make more money, but you build your business faster. So I'm at the top of the company. If you want to crawl to the top of the company, this is how I look at it. Get the $350. If you want to walk to the top of the company, get the $650. If you want to sprint to the top of the company, get the $650. What I love about the business, I was a business owner, is the cost of doing business. Now, for those of you that are on this webinar that are business owners, what if on your balance sheet under the fixed cost, it said $200? I'm not sure if Dr. Dekel's on right now, but he has 3 offices in 3 different states. If I would ask him that question, if it only cost your office $200 a month to operate, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? That's the reason why he got involved in this business. My little small wellness company, just kind of give you an example, just our payroll alone was $50,000 a month. Just payroll, not counting insurance and leases and legal and marketing. I can go on and on, right? So folks, all network marketing is just a different way of being paid, all right? It's removing the brick and mortar from the equation. That's all it is. So I love the fact it's very, very inexpensive to get started, all right? There's only a $50 risk. That's the business in the box. If you choose not to do the business and you just want to get healthy with the products. The cost of doing business is $200. I love the fact that we get paid 8 different ways. And I think the most important way that everyone should understand is if you went to work today, you traded time for money, right? If you work 8 hours, you get paid 8 hours, right? Then what happens to your meter? stops, right? You're not making money until you go back to work tomorrow. And I really feel for people today that are on salary, or in management. You might be working 9 or 10 hours today, but they're only paying you for 8. And there's nothing that you can do about it, right? How would you like to go to work tomorrow and your boss says, hey, what are you doing here? Hey, I'm coming to work, make some money. We're going to pay you today what you did yesterday. How fast would you turn around and walk out the building? Folks, that's how we get paid. We do something one time and get paid again and again and again. So what I want all of you to understand, I've been with this company 9.5 years. I'm still getting paid that small little first check that I received 9.5 years ago. It doesn't go away. Now I understand why, Michael Jackson's estate is worth a lot more today than it was when he was alive. He's still getting paid on all those albums. It just continues to grow and grow and grow. So the good news is you don't have to be a rock star or author or a rap star or, an actress or anything like that to get paid residual income. This opportunity allows that. It's a fascinating business. So what I love about the difference between linear income, that's trading time for money, and leveraged income is doing something one time and get paid again and again and again. And lastly, I want to talk about the worldwide revenues, different ways of getting paid. It's called our elite pool. It's global revenue sharing. And when you hit certain ranks, you start, profiting in global revenues. When you hit the Pro 7 rank, you're sharing in 1% of worldwide revenues. When you hit the 8th rank, you share in 2%. When you hit the 9th rank, you share in 3%. And when you hit the 10th rank, you share in 4%. So I'm at the 10th rank, and I'm getting paid on every product that's sold in the company now. So when I go to bed tonight, I'm trying to give you guys a bigger view of this. When I go to sleep tonight, I make money in Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, Thailand, Taiwan. And when I get up tomorrow morning, I'm making money in this hemisphere. So my point is the meter is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you want to make money while you sleep, and Warren Buffett says it best, you will work until you die unless you figure out a way on how to make money while you sleep. Get with the person that invited you, and what I want you to do is thank them because they thought enough of you to be on tonight. You have the right list of ingredients on who we're looking for to be able to pioneer this new paradigm in health called nutrigenomics that's coming with us or without us, okay? So thank them and find a reason, not to do this. That's what I did. And ask them more questions on the 8 different ways of being paid. I mean, there's ways of getting the company, will purchase a Jeep for you and give you the title. There's 3 ways of getting paid on the front end. You get paid weekly, as well as 3 ways on the back end. So it's a fascinating business model. As I said earlier, it's the 2nd largest in the industry, and because the advent of the internet, it's going to continue to grow more, bigger and bigger as, this brick and mortar type of business that companies are running away from. It just doesn't make much more sense anymore. So hopefully that helps each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being on tonight. Dr. Dekel, I'm not sure if you're still on. Thank you so much for being on and being our expert on the Vitality Stack tonight. You do incredible things in the holistic world. It's just such an honor to be a part of your team. Can't wait to see you again. And we will see all of you next Monday night. Same meeting ID number, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everyone. Take care. My name is Gabe Pearson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Moshe. Take care.